Welcome. Welcome to this week's BTO Talk on generative AI. It's great to have you back here. And for this session today, my name is Michael Alf, calling from Lisbon, and I'm here with my two partners. Over to you, Markus.
Hello, everyone. Markus Kuiper here, professor for marketing at the National University of Singapore, and currently in Dubai, delivering very interesting industrial seminars. Over to you, Rob.
Yeah, Rob Thurner, based in the UK, but today in Muscat, working with Cambridge Judge Business School and running a workshop here on AI and transformation. Lots to share on that. Michael, back to you.
Yeah, thank you. And well, Monday, I will be in Abu Dhabi for a workshop with a client there, which again is about AI and AI-driven transformation, which I think is, so you see the theme both that we do a lot in Middle East, but also other countries, but kind of digital transformation and AI-enabled transformation, both AI and GenAI is kind of one recurring theme which we see across the board. In terms of news, we briefly talked about the new OpenAI O1 the model, and I briefly want to talk about that. And we are going to do a webinar at some stage, so where we go into details and you can ask questions along the way. One question which comes up is, so when do I need that, or when do I use that? Do I always use that if I have access? At the moment, only the paid users have access. There's no API access. So what is important? O1 is a so-called reasoning model. So basically, the model does this kind of sequential steps, reasoning and looking at the own outcome, and looking kind of for mistakes and errors. Mm-hmm. You only need this model when you need this reasoning. In other cases, you go for a 4 mini or something like that, which is a lot cheaper, faster, and especially cheaper. So O1 is really, really, really expensive. So because it does a lot of work. So imagine it kind of takes the task, looks at it, produces something, looks at it, produces, looks at it, produces, and then it comes back again. So it's a lot of compute power there, and you only need that for critical work, for example, coding, analysis, things like that, where things can go wrong. And then it makes sense. If you want to write an email to someone, then you don't need to have a reasoning model. So you just use your 4.0 mini, you get great results with the right prompting. So that's kind of the news, or we want to talk a little bit about. There's a lot more happening. We are playing around with O1, and we'd love to share with you some of the insights we are seeing at the moment, and also how we are going to use that in the simulation, which we talk about a bit later on. With that, Rob, I think you've experienced a couple of interesting things at your training.
Yeah, that's right, Michael. So I'm working with a telco. There's a chief exec mandate to get their senior management team through an AI program. And what I found really fascinating, Michael, there's some obvious stuff, but then there's some interesting insights coming out of this too. So I think the principle of show, don't tell is really clear here. And when you're running these workshops, it's clear within the first 10 minutes. Some of these guys have been using ChatGPT. Maybe they know all about the O1 variant. Others have no clue and they're a little bit embarrassed. Within 2 days, you've created a real level playing field, not by explaining the concepts, by instead giving them access to tools and just getting them to figure it out for themselves. So, by the end of 2 days, you've got complete novices having already created a chatbot, creating some dummy data, putting it in there, and walking away thinking, wow, I can now do this. And the guys who felt like they were a long way ahead, with their own experiences, they've learned some stuff from the newbies too. And what's really great about this is you see, even though they're from very different parts of the organization, they've got very different levels of experience to start with, they can all come together and see that collaboration, sharing ideas, helping one another in a really fun and interactive way, it can be hugely valuable, and they come away feeling like they're empowered to do this. They've got a good use case, and they can then bring it back into the business. And I have to say, if there's a sense among any of you watching that, oh, this is really daunting, we don't know where to start, we haven't got permission to use these LLMs at work, we've only got our private account, just getting in a room, rolling up your sleeves and getting stuck in can be very quickly rewarding and develop some very tangible plans, 4 of which I'm so excited about, and maybe we turn into a use case, and I know they're going to take these back into the business. So that's what I've been doing for the last 2 days.
Wonderful. And I think, Marcus, you had some interesting clients as well, where also AI was at least one of the topics. I know not the main one, but an important topic as well.
Yeah, absolutely, Michael. So being here in UAE, United Arab Emirates, and in Dubai means to be in a very, very aggressively growing market and dealing with leadership talent who really wants to thrive and drive the business. So what I'm doing is we are creating innovative and disruptive ideas in a leadership and strategy workshop. And I basically let them create new ideas for solutions, offerings, and products. Number one insight, nowadays, AI and GenAI is part of every new idea. And that is really a difference, Michael and Rob, from 6 months ago or 12 months ago, right? When we ran similar workshops. Secondly, when I spoke to them, and this is a large logistics global player and supply chain management player, I asked them, so how do you actually roll out Gen AI and AI in your organization? Is it a priority? The answer was the CEO has made it a priority, and every executive has to attend at least 2 AI or Gen AI trainings a month. And that I find interesting. Rob, I know you spend a lot of time with these other organizations as well, but it seems to become it's not a question if you do it, you have to do it. And 2 is a minimum you need to do, because in our executive team conversations, when you speak about strategy for growth in the future, you need to be knowledgeable about AI and its potential, right? What is your view on that, Rob?
Yeah, no, absolutely. If anyone in their career journey feels that there's a block to them getting up to the next level, they need to grab with 2 hands the opportunity that gets them up onto that stage, so they're not going to be left behind. But of course, the more ambitious ones are wanting to do more than just that, more than just do the basics, do the reading around, attend as many training experiences as they can, and start to practice this out of work. And then when they're in those meetings, to be driving them, coming up with new ideas, whether they're in marketing, internal comms, whether they're in procurement, whether they're in logistics, supply chain, at every level. There is really no way you can be sitting back and hoping this is going to blow over, because if you're not there, someone else will be there before you. And it's great to see that both organizations we're working with this week, you just up the coast in Dubai, me here in Muscat, led by chief execs who completely get that the future is all around AI and are giving budget and time to all their senior execs to thrive. I wonder, Michael, how many other businesses know this, but they haven't yet made this an internal policy and internal decision for their senior execs to jump on board. And if that's the case, what would they be doing as senior execs if they don't have the mandate and the budget and the resource to go ahead and do this on company time? What do you think?
Yeah, thanks, Rob. I think it's a great question and great examples. Look, what we're seeing is, of course, with all the awareness and the press coverage, the expert coverage. I mean, the big consultancies, talking about in various reports. It's more and more obvious, especially on the top level. But it still takes time. And for those who are interested, before I kind of continue to answer your question, one of the things I really would like to invite you, and we would like to invite you to join us, because that's kind of what we are about. And here's kind of the link, so that you really join us, because then you learn from first-hand experience, and we'll talk about actually how to implement that and how to benefit from that in your role and in your career. Because if it takes time in your organization, and larger organizations usually does take time, and even not all executives and are kind of fully committed yet. Yeah, so we've seen some positive examples. Others are still a lot slower. We still see there's now the majority of companies have created momentum. It is still far not enough, especially because it's changing so fast. So therefore, the recommendation is really take your destiny into your own hands. Yeah, and this is by reaching out to us, becoming part of our community, so that you are ahead of others. This gives you a huge advantage and a head up, because you have people like us who can help you along the way and help you how to utilize this knowledge to your best advantage, to make your job better, to make your team better, and therefore give you the perspectives of career. So I think that's our recommendation, invitation, which is an open invitation to join us. Markus, any thoughts on that one?
No, absolutely. I think community beats anything else, because it's the wisdom of the crowd, and we certainly give a lot of input, but if you join the community, you will get a lot of questions and answers from other people as well, on your level, on a higher level, on a different level, from different parts of the world, from different industries and verticals. And, we all change our roles, we change our industries and jobs, so it can only be helpful.
Absolutely. And I think just building on that one, it's because of our background, our experience. You need to resonate, obviously, with us and the topics. We all have a strong, corporate background from different cultures across the board, which gives you this advantage. So we are not the super technical people in general. So we can do some of that. Our focus is really on the corporate environment and how to utilize that in your roles, in your job, to move you forward. There are other communities. If you're more an entrepreneur or something, a smaller business or whatever, there's probably other communities, or more technical one if you want to do that. If you want to really move forward and move ahead, utilizing that, also regionally. So we are from Europe via the Middle East, where we are all almost together at the same time, to Asia, and even to some extent Australia. So we are really focused on this part of the world, and this needs to resonate. And then we really invite you to participate here and benefit for yourself.
And I would just add to that, sorry, Marcus, jump in. I'd add to that we've got our own views as to what the important trends are and the important news that we feel is important. We can curate that, but we're also very, very receptive to any questions, any areas that you feel you're requiring focus. And if we don't have the answers ourselves, between us, we can reach out and source that information, and then help you resolve your challenges as they arise. So of course it's a two-way street. And I like that, Marcus, the wisdom of the crowd. It's the ideas that you can bring in to help one another. We're here to facilitate rather than to lead that conversation every time. So you were saying, Marcus?
I was reminding Michael that he wanted to answer your question.
Is that still missing, or I think it's a nice wrap up? So come on board. Again, next week we are planning a webinar. We have a couple of topics which we want to discuss. Probably not all of them one webinar. There's too much going on. So we still have last week the Riyadh Global AI Conference. We have the O1 topic as a big one. So there's a few big things which we want to cover. So we invite you to the webinar. We also have the live next week again. But join us for the webinar. It gives you the opportunity to also ask some questions. So join there. If you are here on this on the list, you get obviously the invite. Otherwise, if you want to reach out to us, and I think that's a wrap, isn't it?
And on that note, just a spoiler alert that we will launch our very own GenAI simulation called Maverick very, very soon. This is ideal for you if you are running an organization and you want to train or educate a couple of people. It can be 5, it can be 100, it can be 500, it can be 2,000, because in simulations the number don't matter too much. it is a cool simulation where you learn by doing in scenario style. We have over 10 scenarios which you have to answer and tackle. And then, of course, you learn things. And we, the three of us, are the facilitators, and we can be the facilitators. And I guess this, Rob, this could be something which could be very, very helpful for seminars like you are running a couple of last days as well, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's designed in a way that it can be a standalone if you've got a specific thing you need to work on, or it can be built into an existing program. And we really see there's great opportunity here. If you've got a 2-day event, back to what you were talking about earlier, Marcus, you've got to do two days a month, or we can design a program. This is kind of the centerpiece. This is the jewel in the crown, and we'll build the briefing and the debriefing around it. But as you say, it's just it's a fun way to learn. And boy, people love the competition. I've done this with senior Saudi ministers run simulations. They love it. They love the competition there, as well as doing it, of course, for guys in their 20s who are just getting going in their careers. So yeah, it's a lot of fun, and we're really looking forward to getting it out there very shortly now and getting some feedback. And so if you're interested, please let us know, and we can talk about how we could build that into programs for you.
Wonderful. I think that's a great wrap for today. From around the world almost. See you next week, and have a wonderful time. And
thanks for your time today.
All the best. See you. Bye for now.